Hi you guys, this is going to be really just a test video. I haven't done a video in some time, but I'm trying out a new camera. That is a new phone actually. It's an iPhone, the new one, the iPhone 6, and I'll see what the quality, I want to see what the quality of the video is, and maybe I can start doing some more demonstrations for you. So I'm going to just throw a real simple piece right now, sort of a bottle form. Actually, bottle form is one of the hardest things to make in a way. Anything that you pull in a lot, I think, is more difficult than a piece that goes out. Because when you're throwing, you kind of always want to throw in toward the center axis, because your clay tends to, as the wheel is spinning, to want to move out. And so that's why a bowl is so easy to do, is because that's the natural form that the clay wants to take. It wants to go out. You can see it's coming out a little bit now, but I have to be able to get my hand down in there, so I'm limited to how narrow I can make it. By the way, a lot of people seem to always ask about what kind of clay you're using, or I'm using in this particular case. And this, of course, is porcelain, and it's called Coleman's porcelain. Many of you know who Tom Coleman is probably. It's a type of porcelain that he formulated, but it's not it's not really any secret, I don't think. I don't know the exact formula, but it's a Grollag porcelain, so it's probably about 55% Grollag, which is imported from England, so it's fairly expensive porcelain, but it's very white, and it's very plastic, very relatively easy to throw. Probably not quite as easy as stoneware, but for porcelain, it's very easy to throw. If any of you have been around, well, some of you have been around for a long time, many of you are young and have never thrown the old kinds of porcelains that we used to use 20, 30 years ago. It was unbelievably difficult to throw. And if you managed to throw it, usually your piece was very thick. The porcelains nowadays have so many plasticizers in it, things that make the clay plastic, ingredients that make the clay plastic, that it's really very, very nice to throw. As I said, it stretches out. You can pull it up real tall and thin. I remember the first time I tried throwing porcelain, it was just like trying to throw cream cheese or something. It was crazy. So this stuff is easy to throw. Another porcelain I like is Nara. It's not as white as the Coleman porcelain, but it's very easy to throw. It's a little cheaper, and it looks nice. It's a nice porcelain as well. Again, it's called Nara, N-A-R-A. So I'm pulling this, I'm necking this piece in now, which means that I'm squeezing it from the side. So you just wrap your fingers around it like this, and then squeeze it in and slowly move your fingers up. Now at a certain point, I'm looking in a mirror. I've got a mirror right in front of me so I can see a different perspective. When you're looking down at the piece, it's hard to tell the actual shape of it. You can lean back, you can even get down on your hands and knees and look at it, but if you have a mirror in front of you, you just look in the mirror and you can see you get a better perspective, as I said, of the shape. At a certain point, you see I have a pen tool here. I lost my pen tool somewhere. There it is on the floor. When it gets very narrow, at a certain point, you won't be able to get your finger in there anymore. That hole is very small now. So what I do is take a pen tool or that wooden dowel that I had, and then work with your left hand on the outside and pushing with my thumb. And this, of course, is if you're throwing on a wheel that goes counterclockwise. And then keep that damp and keep the outside damp, and just use that as though it were a finger. You can make this very, very, very tall. Now it has a slight wobble in the rim up there. Sometimes I just leave that because I kind of like the asymmetry of it all. Again, I'm pushing with my thumb in toward the pen tool. But if you don't like that, little wiggle at the top, it's easy enough just to use a pen tool to cut it off, make it perfectly flat. But You know, the idea of making pots on a wheel, in my opinion, is not to create perfection. By perfection, I mean perfect symmetry. That's not what I want, at least. In fact, when I'm done here, I'll probably paddle this thing and make it into a different shape rather than just being perfectly round. If you want perfect symmetry, then use a mold, and then you can get a very perfect, well, if you start out with a perfect mold, at least you can get a perfect pot and replicate it every time. That's really not what most potters are after. The idea is it's handmade, and if it's handmade, then it has imperfections in it. And those imperfections have a beauty of their own. So you can see how that rim is off. I'm going to just leave it like that. I might refine this curve going up slightly. That's about it. I just cut it off. As it sets up, as I said, I'll probably take the piece and paddle it slightly. It's way too wet, obviously, to do that now. But I'll paddle it into kind of a triangular shape. See how that looks. So that's it. That's my quick little demonstration. See how the camera works. Talk to you later. Bye.